Seeing so middle of Britain, the section, the car park, second section.
And he's capping it off with Pope.
Lining up in his garage, good qualifying from him, lining up on 4.5 miles. Your front row, Alex Barros, Kenny Roberts, Gary McCoy and Valentino Rossi on the outside of the front row.
Max Biaggi is heading up row 2 ahead of Carlos Checa, Norfolk Arbe and Alex Crivier, the outgoing world champion.
Tadej Okada, Regis Laconi, Nobuo Aoki and Loris Capirossi, the second Honda Ponce rider down on the third row.
Tetsuya Harada, Sete Gibernau, Jeremy Williams, the second of the Aprilias, and Jürgen van der Gorberg.
And it's Cardoso, John McGuinness riding as a wild. The red flag goes away and the lights go to green. Away they go. A shocking start from Rossi on the outside of the front row, but a great start from Barros. Looked as though he'll get into red gate first, just ahead of Regis Laconi, and it's Laconi who takes the whole shot.
It is. Laconi comes right up the inside. Rossi is absolutely nowhere. He's been swallowed up. Looks like he hit a one.
It goes well in these damp conditions.
But Williams there, we're pulling Endo Aoki going well wide.
At the moment, here comes Valentino Rossi up on the inside of Loris Capirossi as they go into the S's and through
Roberts. So starting to make his way up.
I'd actually expect more from Kenny Roberts in these kinds of conditions. We usually expect happens as well after a really fast-flowing circuit. It does break the rhythm of the riders up somewhat. There is Valentino Rossi, of course, the reigning 250cc world champion. His debut season, he has impressed us on occasion.
Giddy Rossi comes back through, but Williams looks back for the inside. He's going to retake him, and Gibernau loses that wide 3 abreast.
Did I just see an Aprilia power past the Honda? What's happened there? Jeremy Williams.
Fantastic wet grip, and here they go on the inside. Laconi again has to sit it up. Alex Barros is leading.
Valentino Rossi now goes through on Sete Gibernau as well. So Barros from Arbe, Roberts in third position, McWilliams in fourth. Then Valentino Rossi now into fifth as he goes through on Regis Laconi, but Rossi runs it wide coming out of Melbourne. Apart from the fact that it's raining, it's damp, and it's really difficult conditions out there.
And he's now got 8 bites worth of spray going in his face. Second, if ever it was anything. It's actually a second. It's the magical second. There's my distance personal. Great circuits of Kevin Schwantz, and a man who idolises Kevin Schwantz is Valentino Rossi as he goes past Alex Barros. And now starting to make a move. It's a slight, when you see the shots from the helicopter camera, you do see a slight dry line starting to appear, and maybe the edge of the braking zone. But Valentino Rossi isn't in at the moment as he goes past Norris.
Just going for the wet bits there, wasn't he, Valentino Rossi? And well, in the last couple of corners, Rossi's moved right up the order now, up into fourth position, past Norris Arbe. They head down, plunging down into Craner Curves one more time, and Rossi has the edge on board the NSR 500. In touch with the front guys now. It's starting to spread out as we expected at the front a little bit more. Roberts leading from McWilliams, and it's Aoki, and then Rossi and Arbe. This is the battle for fourth position.
I think we're now Rossi in 10th, Van der Gorberg in 11th, Okada, Checa and Biaggi, there they are, the two works Yamaha bikes in 13th and 14th. Only 16 seconds back, but we're just coming up towards halfway, and not been a good day at the office for either of those two boys, but it's definitely looking good for two of these two. Aoki's bike now, he must have a very soft setting on there because it's throwing him around all over the place. Maybe he's gone just a little bit too soft, and that might hurt him in the later stages of the race, but for the moment he's just on top. You can see
he's lapping quicker than Kenny Roberts at the moment, and if he can get past Aoki, he might deal with closing down on Jamie McWilliams now.
He's on the outside here, and
he's done it.
Looks,
the extra power of the NSR.
Go for we're looking at hanging onto the coattails of Valentino Rossi as they now head after the Irishman, the Ulsterman Jeremy Williams riding the blue Aprilia. Kenny Roberts obviously still leading this race, looking quite commanding. His team he's taking Jürgen van der Gorberg with him though. A pretty good ride there from the Dutchman. Valentino Rossi now up on the inside of Jeremy Williams. He's caught him in less than a lap. And so Williams didn't want to give that up. He's riding it. Well, he's held on to him and see if they can be dragged up to Kenny Roberts now, because what can anybody do about the American guy who's currently leading the World Championship by 14 points over Carlos Checa, and he looks certain, whatever happens, to extend that over the Spaniard, extend that lead, with Checa currently languishing in 14th position.
To Goddard's. Valentino Rossi now is the man on the move, trying to close down.
Oh, there was a moment there. Aoki's down.
Aoki's gone down. What we've seen, haven't we? Saw that happen on the very last lap. We've seen it happen so many times around the corner. Just too much movement from his back wheel, and Aoki goes down.
From that crash from Aoki here.
And that was the move from Rossi, wasn't it? On Jamie McWilliams through the S. Big bumps going through. That won't help at all. They can see Valentino Rossi's pit crew And Mick do
back of the number 2 bike, the Suzuki.
And he knows he's there, doesn't he, Rob?
Yeah,
He's had a big look over his shoulder there.
I don't think that's a worried look over, though. I think that's I know you're there. I'm okay at the moment.
Roberts will fancy his chances in these conditions against anyone, I think. And Rossi, well, we've never seen him do that well in wet conditions before, Valentino Rossi, but certainly showing his pedigree here today. Just in behind Jamie McWilliams as well, underpowered. The conditions go as well. It really is. We can't emphasise how slippy it is over at Goddard. Whether it's the fuel, whether it's the bumps, whether it's the off-camber, there's something for all the riders to think about every single time. And something for Rossi to think about here in the shape of Jamie McWilliams.
Right in his way. There was just an Aprilia where he needed to put his bike. That was a lovely move there from Jeremy. I didn't see that
McWilliams' pace over the last couple of laps. He's stuck with Rossi. And McWilliams now is the man who's going to put pressure on Kenny Roberts Jr.
The only thing I can really think of a living Moto GP legend and the guy who's currently leading the World Championship being tailed by the best British rider we've seen in a long time in the 500cc class. And now he takes the lead into the old hairpin. That was showing it now because he's got to run on Kenny Roberts down into the S's, cuts across the dry line onto the wet, back onto the dry, and says thank you very much, I'll take second place.
Valentino Rossi then on the move up into second position. Once and don't give up on Kenny Roberts at all, because we've seen him do it in these kinds of conditions. We've seen him battle to the very, very last in these kinds of races, so don't count him out at all. I'm sure he won't be left behind by these two.
Let's watch them as they drive out over the vehicles. I think it's slow race, none more so himself overpowered by both of these bikes, possibly.
You can see the gap closes up in that section by 0.2 of a second as they power down the back straight.
Second, I reckon. You know, to really have that cushion, he needs one of the other bike low accelerating points when they're in first or second gear on the right-hand side of the car, coming out of the S's and coming out of the Melbourne Loop. That's where it could hurt him. The other guys have got a little bit more grip. And let's see how he is down the training curves. He was fast a couple of laps ago. Making lead, and we've got, this is Gary McCoy has come into the pits and he's changing tyres. He's putting on a slick tyre.
Ever since that first race, really hasn't gone particularly well, has it, for Gary McCoy? To see the end to any chance he had of picking up decent points in this race. McWilliams, we've seen a couple of problems, haven't we, here and there. Tying a little bit slippery as well. Start to be tearing up around the edges. It's in these right-handers where probably will start to struggle. That's where we seem to see they were getting a little bit raggedy. And Rossi, whoa, having a big moment coming onto the back straight there. The back end of that Honda will still be loving it. The air horns are still blowing around Donington. This could be a glorious day for British motorcycle racing.
So you might think that running with a wet tyre in the dry might be quite fair because you can really feel the slides, but on the front have any feeling at all once it starts to dry out. So these guys are going to be really struggling as they're going on the brakes, not really knowing where the limit is on the dry line. They'll be probably happy if it rains a bit again and levels it out one talking about earlier.
Coming onto the back straight there. So 6 laps remaining as they head through Redgate down into the Craner curves one more time. 3 riders in with a chance of victory in the British Grand Prix. Who will it be? Will it be the Briton? Will it be the 250 world champion, the reigning world champion in 250, Valentino Rossi? Or will it be Kenny Roberts leading the world championship at the moment? And of course, runner-up.
You'll simply have lost too much time. Really, you can see how much harder they're pushing now as they come over there. They're really wheeling over that bump. It's quite a pronounced bump as you come under there.
See the dry line, but there are still the odd wet patches.
You don't want to go offline now. That's the thing. How do you pass somebody? You notice we haven't seen any passes in quite a while, and I think they're unwilling to try it because of his sleeve as we head into the final 5 laps of this, the British Grand Prix here at Donington.
This occasion for someone. First Grand Prix victory for McWilliams it would be. It would be a debut, it'd be a first Grand Prix victory as well. 500 Grand Prix victory for Valentino Rossi. Kenny Roberts, it would be his 4th victory of the season, but will certainly set him on his way for his championship challenge. So it's going to be a big turning point of the season, this one. No Checker fighting out on the top here. No Privier, the reigning world champion, of course. No Biaggi, no Abe at the moment. Just McWilliams, Rossi and Roberts. And it's
shut off. You could definitely have a run on him now.
Fastest lap of the race with Gary McCoy. Must have been the change of the tyres for him, surely.
At least 2 seconds faster than anybody else on track at the moment. So
he did go in and change the tyres.
Yeah.
But,
we didn't see what he did with the front tyre though. That could just be a wet rear. So I don't think he'll be doing enough to catch them really. But it's nice that he's still not given up.
Into Melbourne they go, and they all really concertina up. Rossi and Roberts. Roberts takes a wider line down there. I wanted to cool the tyres probably, just not going down that dry line, trying to just get the wet on the straight bits of the track and taking the dry lines in the corners. Clever riding once more from Kenny Roberts Jr. Across the start-finish line now.
You can see him again there. He's staying a lot longer on the wet part of the track. He's the only one that's thinking about doing that. We haven't seen that. Normally that's what you expect when a dry line starts to appear, trying to keep those tyres as cool for as long as possible, because these wet tyres aren't designed to operate at the sort of temperatures they're running at now, and they're really feeling the strain. The carcasses inside will be really starting to mash up and screw up. Just keeping them that little bit cooler, knocking off a few degrees here and there will really make a big difference.
Williams slides it through the old head, but I think every single corner now is seeing the rear wheel step out of that Aprilia and of the Honda and Suzuki of Rossi and Roberts behind him. But it's the Ulsterman, Jeremy McWilliams. Could he be on course to take his first ever Grand Prix victory? What a day to do it would be in front of the British crowd at Donington Park. He's got
absolutely everything and really ragging that Aprilia.
As we seat every single corner now, they head down to the S's one more time. So tight.
It's still not warm. It's still not warm despite it stopping raining. Here comes Rossi.
Up on the inside at Melbourne Loop, Valentino Rossi's going to go through and he's going to take the lead. And see what he did there, went straight back into the dry line to make sure he got the grip to hold on to that position. Rossi goes through to take the lead.
That could be decisive. He's showing the others how to do it now. Kenny Roberts had a perfect view of that, just how to do it. He pushed McWilliams completely onto the very edge of the dry line and took the middle meaty part for himself, so he had the grip that he knew was there going down into the Melbourne Loop. Great move there by Valentino Rossi, and now he leads as we've just got 3 laps left.
Roberts thought about it. This is where McWilliams has been the fastest guy, coming through Craner curves down into the old hairpin. Is there any chance of McWilliams making a move back on Valentino Rossi?
Rossi's pushing hard though. He's sliding much more down there than he has on previous laps. He knows that this is a make or break moment, and he wants to break the other riders.
Further down the order, you can see Loris Capirossi is 18 seconds down on Kenny Roberts. Such a huge gap back to him, just in front of Norikabe. But these guys have been in a class of their own today. Rossi from McWilliams, from Roberts. Who will take victory in the British Grand Prix? 2.5 laps to go. And Rossi it is who's hit the front, but he isn't pulling away from the others, is he?
No, and Roberts is looking more determined now. He's got that steely glint in his eye that he had all along, but McWilliams smoking the rear tyre if they come out there. But Roberts is really looking like he needs to get past McWilliams. McWilliams, big look over his shoulder.
Didn't look like that from McWilliams, looking over his shoulder, wondering where Roberts was. Just needs to get after Rossi as much as possible. Maybe he thinks that Rossi has the edge. Look how much that Honda pulls away from the Aprilia.
That Aprilia's having serious tyre problems now. He's worried about just holding on to what he's got, and he's not going to do it as Roberts throws
what
it up
disappointment.
No, McWilliams back up the inside. Great move there, just shoved it back
that second place, but they'll be desperate to see him in first position. But it's not him at the moment. 2 laps to go. Valentino Rossi then from Jeremy McWilliams. Kenny Roberts in third position. Who will take victory in this such hard-fought Grand Prix? And you can see there McWilliams will have watched Rossi having such problems go through.
Here we go, down the Craner curves. Here we go. Jeremy McWilliams right on the outside. He's going to line it up behind Valentino Rossi. This is his chance into the old hairpin here. He's going to be late on the brakes, but not quite close enough. It's so close. You can smell the rubber on the back wheel of Valentino Rossi's bike now. Really on him. He's got one more chance as they head up the hill. Will he be close enough? I don't think so, no. He's going to sit behind. There's 1 more lap to go. 1.5 laps to go in the British Grand Prix. Now Kenny Roberts on the racetrack. This is where he can start to use the power of the V4 Suzuki over that V-twin Aprilia bike. They'll all light it up as they come out of here, sliding it sideways. McWilliams more so than the others, really.
The smoke going off the rear of that Aprilia. And there's his wife watching on from the pit lane. Jeremy McWilliams, can he do this one? Can he take the first victory for Britain? At the moment it's an Italian who's leading in the British Grand Prix. Luke for the penultimate time now. Rossi from McWilliams to Roberts. No move this time from Kenny Roberts Jr.
But he's close. He's very, very close.
Williams down at the old hairpin where he's been very strong throughout the race. But I wonder if he makes a move. Is he going to have enough to hold off either Rossi or Roberts?
A lot of time there just in that short drag. So going to do some wonders. He didn't get quite the drive out of that final corner as he did the previous time round. And we're on to the final lap here at Donington Park. The dry line has become dominant here. It's about who can hold on to their tyres and who has got enough left for this final flying lap. round the Leicestershire circuit.
McWilliams really pushing very, very hard to stay with Rossi as they head down Craner
Oh,
Curve.
sideways, completely sideways.
Oh, he's really not close enough
That
at the
must
moment,
be
is he,
it.
Jamie McWilliams?
His tyre's
Roberts, what is Roberts going to do? Can he get past McWilliams? Can he challenge Valentino Rossi in the latter stages of his race? Just a half a lap remaining. Valentino Rossi could be on course to win his first 500cc Grand Prix. The reigning 250cc world champion. So much is expected of him. He's got that factory Honda underneath.
McWilliams hasn't given up though. McWilliams hasn't given up. He's trying so hard there, completely out of the seat.
Corner speed is McWilliams carrying.
Okay, here we go. This is the run down. We'll head out fast right-handed under the tunnel. Bridge. Williams completely sideways before he was skill from the Osman, and Rossi sideways in the air over the bump down into the S's for the final time. We've just got 2 corners to go after they come through this right-left flip-flop. Valentino Rossi sideways on Roberts, straight line, and he's got the drive. Roberts has got the drive.
Roberts looks like he's going to be able to go through at the Melbourne Loop, but it looks like this race could belong to Valentino Rossi, unless there's a mistake. Roberts does claim second from McWilliams.
He holds it tight this time.
How cruel is this on the Osman, the Briton in the British Grand Prix? But it looks like we could have a first-time winner.
He's on the wet defensive line from Rossi. Oh my word, that's a risk.
Through the dam, but it looks as though Valentino Rossi will claim his first ever Grand Prix victory in the 500cc class. He does. Rossi wins from Roberts in second place. McWilliams, what a disappointment for him. He'll be delighted to be on the podium. He would so wanted a victory. Jeremy Burgess celebrates with Mick Doohan, the former crew chief and the former world champion, of course, but the new protege of Mick Doohan and of Jeremy Burgess is Valentino Rossi, and he takes his first ever victory in 500s, and look how happy he is with it.
So, final results then, confirmation. Valentino Rossi from Kenny Roberts, Jeremy Williams, Loris Capirossi in 4th, Jürgen van der Gorbeck on the V-twin Honda in 5th ahead of Arbe, Crevier and Sete Gibernau finally ending up in 8th position after running his highest 3rd early on. Max Biaggi in 9th, Tadej Carter in 10th ahead of Checker, who was 2nd in the championship and should just hold on to that. Register Coney, John McGuinness getting points on his wild card. Gary McCoy 17th in the end ahead of Sebastian Legrel. But on the podium, Valentino Rossi, his debut win in the 500cc class.
Jamie Williams stands on the podium for the 2nd time this season. Kenny Roberts, how important is this for his championship challenge? 2nd place for him, but the race winner today is Valentino Rossi, his first ever 500cc Grand Prix victory. Jeremy Burgess goes up there as well. Shake of the hand with Valentino Rossi.
Barry Sheen handing out the trophy to Jeremy Burgess.
You can see there, Zach and Jack, Jeremy Williams' 2 kids have joined him up on the podium as well. Very special day for the British fans to see a Briton on the podium like this. So, delight then, Valentino Rossi, congratulated by Kenny Roberts Jr. as well. They know each other from days back at the ranch in Barcelona, but Valentino Rossi on the top step for the first time and really gets to enjoy the champagne. This was the British